Oh, speaking of Coburg and all that sort of stuff, that hotel that you were mentioning.
Oh, yeah.
That hotel.
Yeah. Where is it? I looked at the Google map, but I couldn't exactly figure it out.
Shady stuff happens there all the fucking time. All the fucking time. So there were, like you mentioned previously.
The inside looks like a crack den.
So previously you mentioned, so there were 3 of these hotels all the way down Sydney Road, and they have done a Viceland special on one of them. It's now closed. So it's like a halfway house for people who leave prison and they need a place to stay and then go to court proceedings or whatever's.
Yeah.
That place closed down because the managers were peddling meth through that one. That's the one that you've seen. So the one that I'm speaking about is on the corner of Sydney Road and it's not Bell Street, but
no, Sydney Road and Bell Street. You've got a pub. You've got a.
So it's called Coburg Motor Inn.
The good old Motor Inn.
3-star hotel, 2.7 stars on
I
Google.
live next to a Motor Inn. It's the best.
The reviews are amazing. Like the
photos inside just look like hell on earth, man. It looks like something out of a Vice doco on like prisons.
Yeah.
Reform centres and prisons in South Africa.
There's always like one, like, what more do you need? A bed and a place to stay. And then there's someone like...
Yeah, I don't want hepatitis.
Yeah, it's like there's a hole in my wall and I can see the person next door, or like there's bugs in my bed.
Yeah.
Dude, they've got there's a swimming pool in there too, and I think a couple of months ago there was a car in there and they had to get it jacked out.
In the pool?
With the crane, yeah, someone drove it into the pool.
How do they get through the pool? Isn't there like a fence line or something?
Yeah, but they ran the fence.
Yes, logic. That's such an idiot.
You're driving home and there's like 5 cop cars out there, and there's always like a couple of people just yelling at each other. So the last incident was somebody got hip and shouldered at the tram stop. I was like, he hip and shouldered me. Like, you hip and shouldered me. And there's like cops everywhere just for these 2 guys. And then they start running through the park, trying to get away from them. But it's always...
Both 2 guys were running.
Yeah, so they ended up becoming friends and running away from the cops. But there's always something random happening there. It's just like...
I can't picture it, though.
It's
Bell Street and Sydney Road?
Not Bell Street, sorry. So a little bit further down Sydney Road. It'll be... It's where they try to build the Holiday Inn for like years.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I mean, I know Sydney Road, obviously, but I'm not like familiar the way you are.
It's Sydney Road and Gaffney Street.
The hell's that?
Gaffney Street.
I'm just trying to picture the corner.
Gaffney Street. It's that street where you've got like Bunnings and Coles and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, I know where Coles is.
So you go past the tram lines.
Yeah.
And you're like, there'll be a couple of things there.
But it's on the corner.
Yeah. A little bit further down.
How come I've never seen it?
It's hidden in the corner. Like, it's
Who owns it?
Some Asians.
I'm
saying Asians own it because I've walked in there and said hello.
What were you doing there?
I was curious as hell. I went in there to tell them that somebody was passed out in their driveway, and he was legless and wasn't wearing any underwear. He had his tops on.
He wasn't wearing underwear.
Yeah, there was a guy just passed out in the driveway, so he had his shoes on, he had his t-shirt on, but below that,
isn't there a board of health or something that would shut that place down?
Yeah.
If you look at the photos, it looks like hell.
They're providing a service.
The service, man, it looks like hell. Like, there's holes in the wall, the bathroom's like moldy, there's exposed wires, like, it's fucked.
There's the roof of it, there's all these exposed wires now. Something must have happened. It must have been really windy a couple of weeks ago. And then they've put one of those tarps on top of it. But with that tarp, there's all these cables just hanging off the side of the building. And it just... Yeah.
Did you see the cable work in like Thailand and stuff like that?
That's the first thing I noticed.
Yeah. I was standing around.
The smell, and then you're like, oh, and then you look up and you're like, damn.
It looks fucked, right? I saw someone working on those years, when I first went in 2008-9. I remember standing there either in Vietnam or Thailand, and I was just looking up, and there's a guy hanging off the pole wearing thongs and shorts and goggles. You know what I mean? He's not going to lose his eyes. That's the main thing.
The goggles do nothing.
Yeah.
They use cables now. So when was the last time you went to Thailand? Must have been what?
Thailand was 2013. It was a while ago.
So those cables have doubled in size now. So it's got to be, yeah. But I remember going the first time, and we stayed at the Holiday Inn because that song was out. My mates like, we're staying at the Holiday Inn.
It's not Holiday Inn's not a crash hotel. It's just
it's terrible.
It's just a low.
It's just a hotel. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And seeing the cables outside, I was like, damn. And then we went back 2 years later. And I was like, fuck me.
It's actually gotten worse.
Yeah, it got worse back then, so I don't know how it is now. Maybe they got fibre optics installed finally. Or they finally realised that you can make money off copper. Start cutting all those cables because people are like, we're rich. Copper bars.
It boggles my mind when I go to, like, say, Thailand. Thailand's not a developing country. It's sort of halfway between developing and...
Half and half. You've got your good side and then you got your shitty side.
Yeah. But, like...
Then you got the tourist side.
I was going to say, like, you go to Bangkok. Did you spend time in Bangkok?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you go to Bangkok and it's like...
Koh San Road.
Yeah, standard. Everyone goes there. It's all the tie-dye T-shirts and crack pipes are. Like, I love Bangkok because it's sort of like, it's like Athens. There's like relics and then there's like cafes and then there's like restaurants and then there's markets and then there's bums like trying to jack you and then you're back to relics and museums and temples and shit. You go to that, like your Koh San Road's like that bottom sort of half. When you go to the other side with that what's it called? HNK shopping centres, whatever they're called.
Yeah, it's all bougie.
Yeah,
it's all nice and bougie.
It's sort of bougie, like big LED screens and like, you know.
When I went when I was younger, they had so much better stuff than Melbourne. Like they were like way ahead of like
clothing
and like LED TVs like fucking everywhere. You're like, holy shit!
And I went into like 2008-9 and then 2013, and I remember walking through the city and saying, "What the fuck?" Like. Big LED screen billboards look like Times Square, man.
It's the first time I saw a plasma. I'm like, what is this? And he goes, plasma TV, my man. I can ship it anywhere you want. And you're like, no. But like, I think the funny part was going to, I think in Bangkok, there's one of the biggest malls, shopping malls.
Yeah, that one.
And I remember
4 levels or 5 levels or something.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
I remember like asking like, DVDs? And the guy's like, come with me.
Oh, did you do them?
And,
Yeah.
And he takes you to the back. And then the secret door opens up in the back.
We went to a suit shop.
Yeah.
Not 2013. I think 2013 it was less prevalent because technology started advancing where people weren't really buying DVDs.
Yeah.
2008-9. I remember asking a dude, where can I get DVDs? He's like, come with me. We went to the back of a suit shop. The wall of suit shirts just opened up. There was a door. You go through the door. There's a guard and a camera. The knock. The little slot on the door like they're at a casino in Russia. Yeah. Open the slot and then you're in. And it was literally like black market shit, man.
I was like, our Netflix. Like, what do you... I remember coming through like with so many CDs, worrying about customs, like being like, they're going to eat me.
Man. It was that... I told you, I watched that Soul Man.
Yeah.
I bought a copy of Soul Man in Thailand at one of those shops.
I remember it was when Game of Thrones first came out. Because they're like, very popular, very popular. Like, I don't watch that shit.
Yeah. Game of Thrones, man, I'm remembering, I completely forgot about that, but that shit actually exists.
Remember the guy, like, there was always one guy wearing like 5 different Rolexes? Yeah, and he's like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And you're like, this one. You go, I'll be back in 5 minutes.
They always go away and come back with whatever you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think because just in case I think they watch you to see if anybody shows up and like, oh, did you get this? Did you get that? Or
I remember when I was in Cambodia. And we're in Siem Reap. And I mean, we went for a walk and we found like a market, like a little mini market, whatever, like just stores and shit. And there was a DVD store set up and it wasn't big. It was probably as big as this room, maybe a bit smaller. And they just had wall-to-wall DVDs, DVDs. And someone in the group said, wouldn't this place get like raided? Like, you know, like how does this place even exist? And we all sort of said like, man, for every one of these, there's 1,000 more floating around. Like you're never going to catch up to this.
Cops get paid off.
They have to, yeah.
I remember we were riding bikes through Vietnam, and the guy's like, we got stopped by the cops. They're like, you want to go to jail? And I'm like,
for what?
No, just being white. Being Greek in Vietnam. He's like, you want to go to jail? I'm like, no. And my mate's like, no. And he's like, the cop's staring at him. I'm like, bro, he wants money. He's like, I'm taking care of this, man. And he's like, do you want to go to jail tonight? And my mate's like, no. And my mate still didn't get it. I'm like, give him some fucking money, you dumb cunt. He's like, oh, how much? And gave him like 1,000. I think it was like...
I don't know, the dong, yeah?
Yeah, something like that. Like the dong was
what's
like...
What's 1,000 dong worth?
I've got no idea.
Hang on, exchange. We've got the internet.
It would have been like at least $20 Australian or something like that.
1,000 dong... Hang on. Dong to AUD. It's 0.061 Australian dollars. That's... So $6 there.
We were
$6.
That's a month's wage, man. Back in the day, we were we ended up in Laos. We heard about this place called Tubing.
Yeah.
And when we went there, 60 Minutes was there. So it was down at the Vang Vieng. So when we got there, 60 Minutes just left because all these Australians were dying. So pretty much you jump in the river, you go in a little donut, and you get carried by the current bar to bar to bar. We were there for a week, and it was just like we were drunk the whole fucking time. And during that time, I think up to the third day, you just see people like jumping into the water, disappearing. And they'd be found like down the river the next day. So stuff like that was happening. And it's like everything was jumping at your own risk. Everything is at your own risk. None of us are here to take care of you. There's no ambulance. There's no air chopper. There was no fucking hospital in this place, man. The hospital was some lady in a tent.
In Laos?
Yeah.
See, I missed out on Laos because I went to Nam, I went to Cambodia, and then it was either go to Laos, and then we ended up running out of time and went to Thailand.
It was just like snake whiskey the whole time we were there, being drawn on your. Like, you're just covered in like paint the whole time.
Paint?
Yeah, because like you'd go to a bar and then they'd write stuff on your arm, like spray paint your hair, different color. It was just like schoolies on crack. Is pretty much the way it would be. And it's just like you'd meet so many people like, oh, I've been here for a month, and their dollar's called the kip, and like if you had $5 in your pocket, it was like having 2 racks in each hand. Like you don't want to carry any of this money. It was
$5.
Yeah, kip was like so fucking big.
Yeah, that was like Indonesia. That was like Vietnam.
Yeah,
like, they got the denominations, man, like 10,000, whatever.
But Laos was a beautiful place. I remember. So we caught the night bus there, got there, found a hotel, and we just went straight to bed. Wake up in the morning, look at the balcony, beautiful fucking scenery. Never seen scenery like this in my life. Just huge mountains, clouds, wildlife. There were fucking monkeys everywhere. It was amazing because like us coming from Melbourne going there.
Was that your first stop?
Yeah, no, sorry, this was our third stop. We spent like a week in Phuket just getting totaled.
Phuket's a place to be for that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Just on
when you're young,
the road.
Yeah, when you're young and just getting absolutely trashed, that was the thing to do. So we stayed there.
Man, booze in Southeast Asia was so much potent because it's cheap, just rocket fuel.
You're running on $5 a day and you're fine.
Yeah, I remember being in, I think it was PP, maybe in PP.
PP Island?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember having some Mekong whiskey and it had to have been spiked. Like I did not feel right, man.
Is PP Island the full moon party?
No, it's Koh Phangan.
PP's
like next to James Bond Island. You know where the beach was filmed? Yeah. So you go to PP and like all the Swedish dudes take up snorkeling gigs there. every snorkeling instructor on PP Island was Swedish or Aussie.
And you're looking like, God damn, you're beautiful. How'd you get that 6-pack, man?
Dude,
fuck?
All of them?
You show up like, yeah, I'm ready to party. I feel so ashamed.
Yeah, you're wearing boardies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These guys are standing around, glistening tans, ripped abs, all charming as fuck, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to bang every single one of you in this group. Literally, you can smell it on them.
You have no girlfriends tonight, fellas. Bye-bye. And like the girls would be like, oh my God, look at him, he's gorgeous.
Hi, my name is Bjorn. Like, yeah, of course it is.
And then like 20 minutes later, this cunt rips out a guitar.
Wonderwall.
Someone starts a fucking bonfire out of nowhere.
Wonderwall.
Like, I can see, like, you know, they got that thick accent. I can sing you Wonderwall. And then, like, Wonderwall, word for word, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, just beautiful. Like, do you know anything else? We know Journey. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. If they sing one cover of Journey.
Just a small town girl.
Yeah.
Living in a dry.
I remember one of them singing like Jessie's Girl. And it just like, every girl's like, you look at every girl in the room, their eyes just like glistening. And I'm like, this guy's done.
Some douchebag with a guitar has to ruin everything, man.
Oh, man. It was the best. It was the fucking best.
If you could do it over, like that, like think about the path not chosen, yeah? Like you always have these moments in life, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I go study?
It went like, no, I think it was amazing. Okay, so I had one of my other mates, he was like this gorgeous looking guy, right? He's just one of the best looking guys. And I remember we're all sitting at the beach. We're in Thailand. I think it was... remind me what the islands...
Thailand?
Yeah, some of the
islands? Yeah. Samui?
We're in Koh Samui.
There you go.
There we go. That's
it. First one.
And there was a bar called Koh Samui. It was just a bar called
The Bar Samui, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there.
And I remember we're sitting there, and this is my second trip. We're just sitting there, and this girl comes out of nowhere, and she's like, I'm taking you home tonight with me. My mate's like, sorry, fellas, I'm booked out. Takes a drag. And then the next morning, I'm like, did so-and-so come home? And my mate's like, no. I'm like, fuck, our boat's leaving in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And we're in this bar, and we see him walking across the road. No shoes, no shirt. Like, are you okay? And he's like, you guys were going to leave me here, weren't you? And we're like, yes, we were. We were going to fucking leave you here. And he's like, right. So I had to jump out of a 3rd-story building because her boyfriend showed up.
Oh, fuck.
And the funny part was every fucking island we went to afterwards, he kept seeing the boyfriend. And it was always a standoff. And he's like, hey, man, like he befriended the boyfriend as well towards the end. Oh, bro, I see you everywhere we go. What's going on?
Guy was chasing him.
Wasn't chasing him per se. He was just escaping so he doesn't get noticed. So everywhere, he would tell the girl, oh, we're going to this island next. And she would fucking go to that island with us, with her fucking boyfriend. And I'd be like, this is
Why would he be tipping her off?
It was such a good like trip. It was like a movie. He's like, we got to get out of here right fucking now.
I always thought about that. Like, you see it in movies where, like, pretty girl approaches you in a bar, takes you back to her room, and then, like, there's someone there to jump you or whatever.
I did there was one time where I woke up and my mate pushed the couch up against the door and one of the beds up against the window.
Yeah.
And he slept in this, like, little makeshift bed, and I slept in another bed. And I remember my mate rocking up because he'd said he'd meet us at the hotel.
Yeah.
Doors knocking, opens up the door. I'm like, why the fuck is there furniture everywhere? And he's like, my mate's like, they were coming to get us, man. I swear they were coming to get us. He was just living on, like, always watching his fucking shoulder because he was doing all dumb shit in fucking Thailand. It made it hilarious.
I always told people, like, anyone that wanted travel advice, especially with Thailand, I said, listen, man, don't go buying drugs from people you don't know and just stick to bars in open areas.
Just stick to drinks. Canned drinks, and just do that.
Don't venture off the beaten path because too many people go for rides and then end up with no, like, kidneys and shit, like, bathtubs in Bangkok.
I remember asking a cop if I could shoot his handgun, and he was like, yeah, it's like 3,000 Thai baht. I'm like, okay. And it was during the time when the dollar was...
3,000 was like 24 baht to the dollar, wasn't it?
This was like toe-to-toe with the Australian. Like, our dollar was more than the American.
Oh, yeah.
And I was
so it would
like,
be 2011.
And I was like, what's that, like $8? Yep. Okay, cool. And it was amazing. And I remember being in this alleyway with these fucking cops. They're all drinking whiskey. I ain't give a fuck. And we're just shooting down this alleyway with his handgun. So the only way he'd let me shoot it was I had to have my finger on top of it. So we were like pretty much...
like you're spooning it?
Yeah.
Spooning a little tiger.
What's that movie with Swayze? Was it Ghost?
Yeah, Ghost.
Yeah, it was like that, but with a little handgun. And I just shooting in the alley, and we got so drunk with these cops. It was the most fun night. Then we ended up jumping in their van, and we're just driving around, like, the area. And he's just like, he goes, see this person? He pimp. Let's go get money. And he'd go get... It was fucking amazing.
So you were with cops shaking down, like, just pimps and shit?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay, here's a question, man. Could you live in Thailand?
Hell no. Your money would run out so quickly.
No. Let's assume you have a job that covers the bills, yeah, and leaves you a bit on the side to play, right? So you're living comfortably. You're not scavenging.
Yeah.
Your job is set, so there's no, like, you have to hustle every week. So you know that you'll go to work for 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
You'll make enough money to eat, survive, pay your rent, have a bit of fun, playtime money, and maybe save $1, right? Could you live in, like, Phuket? Could you live in Bangkok? Could you live in Samui?
I think up until the age of 30.
We couldn't do it now.
No.
Why?
After 30, your priorities in your brain change. Like, you want something else. You want a little bit of peace and quiet. Like, the partying, you get over. Unless
what about just the scenery itself?
There's always like a couple of guys who got married at 20, now divorced at 26, and, like, they're all fucking living there. They're all DJs now or some shit.
Promoters.
Yeah, like, when you're young, I could live there when I was younger. No, easy.
I'm talking about now.
No way in hell. No way.
Like, I hear about it all the time, like guys talking about how they're going to move to Thailand or Bali or whatever. It's like, yeah, but what would you be doing?
They want to change the scenery. They don't want to deal with Dan Andrews anymore, any shit like that. They don't want to see any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Going on. So they're like, let's see something else. Let's try something different. But you'll miss indoor plumbing. Guaranteed, man. you like scooping water out of that bucket isn't for fucking everybody for like 3-4 years.
Yeah, but that wasn't all Thailand. That was just sections.
80% of it.
No, I was lucky. I never saw that. I never had to deal with it.
We went through Vietnam. We went to I don't know. So we ended up in Vietnam. We ended up going and getting breakfast. This old guy was following us. I'm like, man, this fucking old guy is following us for the last 3 blocks.
Yet on a bike.
Yeah, and he was just like some old guy, and he just kept following us. And when we sat down for coffees, he showed up and he opens up this book, and it was like, my name is so-and-so. I do motorbike tours through Vietnam.
Yeah.
Here are people's written stories. You know, we can do a good deal for you. And me and my mates were like, yeah, fucking hell, let's do it. So we all ended up going with like these 3 different people. Like, we just met him. We just said, yeah, cool, no worries. We could have gone and fucking jumped at that stage.
Yeah.
But we ended up going all through like North to South Vietnam on bikes in 3 days. It was a lot of fucking riding. We stopped everywhere that we could. One of the best trips I've done, just riding a motorbike through there.
What were you riding?
Just like these really shit Russian bikes.
Like 125s or something?
They looked like Harleys. They look like Harleys, but they were like really bad. So like those Yosungs that they have. And we went to like Hamburger Hill and all those places where the war was at.
Yeah.
And, like some of those places, I remember they were flying the communist flag still.
Of course they were.
Yeah. It was like, oh, we love Americans. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
What's up with that flag?
Well, he's holding an AK. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, man. They're like, you want to shoot a cow with the RPG? Like, nah, we're okay.
Man, you know what, man?
You buy the cow, gets donated after you shoot it.
I know, but you're shooting it with an RPG. You're obliterating the shit out of it.
Yeah, it's not going to go down well.
No, what are you donating? The hoof, you know, like whatever's left over.
Well, you know. It's
Dude, but, like, okay, hang on a second, man. I grew up hunting, right? As a kid, I went hunting with my dad, my uncle, you know, like I grew up hunting. And if someone said to me now, come and clean out I've got a property, you know, in Shepparton, overrun by rabbits, come up with your guns, I'd go, right? I'd go. I see the fit, like, and anyone who says that's so cruel and blah, 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 it's like, mate, our DNA is to hunt and forage and survive.
The way they had this RPG, it was an RPG shooting range. And it was
That's what I'm saying. I never understood the appeal. Like, when I was in Nam, I went to a range to fire. I want to fire an AK and an M16. Dude, they have M16s, like left over from this.
Were you like, can I shoot it with one hand? Did you hold the belt? Yeah. Like, yeah.
There's a bomb in there.
Yeah. So like it was funny because they're like, I remember going to the shooting range and there was a kid behind the counter. This kid just like rips out a Glock and starts showing you what they got, and you're like, this kid's like 17.
You know what I remember? Them handing us our headphones. They weren't
shit.
No, it was just headphones, like fake Sony headphones. I'm like, these aren't earmuffs.
Where are these? Like,
yeah.
So these
my ears were ringing, man.
Like, so this RPG shooting range was just a concrete bunker.
Yeah.
And it was straight, and the RPG cannon was just set up on the table straight away.
Yeah.
And the cow was tied right at the back. They had the cow ready to fucking go. They're like, yeah, if you want this. And the cow's just chilling there. I'm like, you poor bastard.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't see the appeal in blowing up a cow with an RPG.
There's some sick fucks out there. That's like, you know, if they could get money from someone, they're going to do whatever.
But you know what my old man used to do, man, years ago? I remember he telling me, because he was a butcher, yeah?
Yeah.
So he used to get contracted by guys down in like the peninsula that had all the venison farms and like steer and, like, you know, big fucking animals. They'd pay him to go down there, line up the animal, get a clean headshot, kill it, humanely, obviously, and then cut it up, fillet, like, the carcass, like quarter it up, you know, steaks, whatever the hell they wanted. And then they paid him and gave him a cut of the meat as well.
Yeah.
And he went on his way. And for my man, that was like a Sunday arvo. Do you know what I mean? Like
just a casual Sunday.
Yeah, like go kill an animal like in their field rather than take it to the abattoirs and have to take it through like the whole process.
Yeah.
Just as good, man. He had the high-powered rifle to do the job, knew how to cut meat properly, so he'd go do it, done. Doing that is a bit different to going to get an RPG and line up a tied-up cow that's just standing there and watch it explode. Like, I have no appeal in that. It feels like it's...
the funny part is, like, when they always, I think, like, once a year they do the firearm amnesty in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And you always, like, they'll show it on the news and you just see they've got, like, like, there'll be a Russian gun in there in that pile from like World War II, and I'm like, that gun's like worth like $7,000. Why?
Who's giving this?
Like, who the fuck has? How did you get that into? Yeah,
I feel like they just pulled it out from the archives and dumped it back in the pile.
yeah. There you go.
But here's a question, not even a question, more of a statement. Like, do you follow Dan Bilzerian on Insta?
I used to. I was like, fuck, this cunt is sick, and then I was like, this cunt's a douchebag.
Yeah, I used to for a while.
Yeah, he's got a fucking massive arsenal. I've seen. I don't know if he still has it, but he's got that massive back room where he walks in and he's got all the guns lined up on the wall. I'm sure he's still got something like that. But that was like overkill what he had.
This is the thing, yeah. People, I would assume men see it, right? Women would just see it and say, what a douchebag, right?
Yeah.
Men would see it and think, oh, what a tough cunt. And all these videos were of him in a pair of camo, like fatigue, like combat boots and fucking pants, wearing like no shirt, or a tank, and he'd be in the desert somewhere just firing off rounds from
with 7 models in bikinis,
random birds,
and they're loving it.
No H&S,
they're loving it. Like, you another beer, Dan?
Yeah. And he's just firing off clips into like nothing, blowing away pumpkins that are laid out in the desert, whatever. I don't understand what the appeal of that is. Like, he's a good-looking dude. He's a unit. He's, like, massive. Fair enough. But it's like, I don't want to drive into the desert with a Hummer and just shoot guns. I own 5 rifles. I don't go to the range.
It's not what we do. They do that there. They go there with a 6-pack of beer.
But that's what I mean. What's the appeal?
Is it letting off steam? Is that what it is?
Look, man, firing off a gun is a different experience. But at the same time, when you're putting it on social media like it's some sort of, like, testosterone-driven, like, alpha male shit, it's like, dude, your penis must really be small, bro.
It was fun when we went to the range in Thailand or America or whatever.
Once.
Yeah, and you're like, after like 5 minutes, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, you get tired of it.
You're like, oh, that's what it feels like. Yeah, see ya.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see it, man. And I don't see, like, that stereotype. Like, And then Bilzerian himself is a bit fucking...
He's a douche. Absolute douchebag.
And what do you say?
Well, he's got the money for it, whatever.
He's got money, but it's like... All right.
If he had his own TV show, would you watch it? Would it like the Kardashians be like the Blizzarians?
Nah.
You want to watch it? Okay.
What for?
Oh, what if it was like him and Joe Rogan?
Yeah, because I love Joe Rogan.
Don't you? I thought you did. Nah. He's lost appeal as well the last couple of months.
Do you watch him?
No, at the beginning when he had his old studio, some of he's recording
before the Spotify move.
His podcasts and all that were great, and then it got to a point where he just became like just. There was a point where he just went a little bit too far, and I was like, it's not worth listening to anymore.
You know what it's like? It's like that Liver King guy.
Yeah.
Do you ever see his shit?
Yeah, just eats liver, and everyone's like, he's not natural.
Whether he's natural or not, I could give a shit.
Yeah.
But, like, someone was talking about him the other day, and I remember him popping up on my social media, so I've looked into him again. Like, I've just literally searched Liver King, seen these videos of him doing these workouts, and the whole time he's eating, like, raw liver. And I'm like, why? Put it in a frying pan with some garlic, bro.
Do you like liver?
I've said this before. I hated it the way my mum used to cook it, like a wog on a frying pan, just turns it into rubber. You know what I mean? But if you cook it right, like maybe a slight saute with like
over charcoal?
Charcoal maybe, with wine, like as in...
And you got the fat wrapped around it.
To give it something other than just lustico, you know what I mean? I can't. It's just... It depends.
I think after a while, it just starts to taste really... Like, the first bite, it tastes good.
It's not bad.
And then the second one, you're like, ugh.
It's got this aftertaste. It's gamey as shit.
We ate a lot of... Like, I remember we went to some... Like, we're in Hiroshima, and we went to some restaurant with this girl that we just met a random, like, chick on the street. She's like, you want me to show you guys around? Like, yeah, yakitori? She's like, yeah, let's go. Went to this bar, soccer's playing, all those company men just smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
She's like, is it okay if I order? Yeah, order. So we ended up getting, like, these yakitori sticks, cow's liver. Like, the first bite, amazing, because they use different, like, styles to us. Then afterwards, it just became liver. Like, I couldn't stomach it.
Do you ever cook in a Japanese restaurant?
No, never.
Never?
I'd probably just get stabbed.
Why?
Like, they're great, man. Like, a proper Japanese restaurant, like, cutting all the sushi and all that sort of stuff, nah. Like I don't have that sort of precision. I don't think I'd be able to do it.
Laziness.
Like, their technique and everything is completely different. They're, like, very, what do you call it? They're very... Very professional.
Methodical.
Yes. They're very, like, calm, cool, collected, like, yep, let's do this, this, and this. And then,
Andy had said it once on the podcast, it's like they're practically praying to the fish.
Yeah, man. They're, like, they're just staring at, like, they're, like, really calm, cool, and then you've got me just yelling like, order up!
One cleaver for everything.
And like, why are you talking back to me? Why, don't talk back to me. Just fucking take the food. Run the fucking food. I don't, like, what? You're still talking. You're still fucking talking. Still fucking, it'd be like that. I remember just arguing with waiters. Like, I'm going to quit. I don't give a fuck what you do. You can quit.
Have you had a bad dining experience lately?
Yeah. I think I did recently, and me and my mate were like really disappointed.
We went to the restaurant in the city, a group of us. Yeah. We're on a time restraint, so we made a booking.
Was it an hour and a half sort of a thing?
We had hour and 45 minutes before we had to leave, right?
Yeah.
So we were on a time restraint. They bring out, we got there in half of the party got there before the rest, so they'd ordered like some drinks when they got there. I got there late, standard. Sit down, order some drinks, waiting. Gets like half an hour. Look, and then one of us was like, "What's that drinks?" Ordered the a la carte shit, whatever it was, like whatever banquet thing they had thinged. After half an hour, remind them, 40-minute mark, I think they bought us 2 rounds of drinks in one hit and the appetizers after the 40-minute mark. I'm like, what the hell, man? Oh, yeah, sorry, your appetizers went to another table, like la la la. I'm like, right. Okay, can we get the main, please? And can we please get like another round of drinks? Because like, we're thirsty. We've had 1 glass of water for like the last 45 minutes. Waiting. It got to like 10 to 9 and they bought us, I think, what did they bring? Was it 10 to 9 or 9 o'clock? We had to be out of there by 9:15, like no later than 9:15.
Yeah.
5 to 9, 10 to 9, I think they brought us the mains. And like, well, do you want them? No, they brought us a dessert first. And I'm like, what's this? It's your dessert. We haven't had our mains yet. It's 10 to 9. Oh, so they took the dessert away. I was like, can we please get another drink? Oh, yeah, okay. They leave. Then they brought our mains out at like just after 9. We had about 10 minutes to eat our mains, man. And we didn't get a second drink either.
Usually, there's been a couple of times where I remember Vanessa's sister came down from Perth. We went to a Japanese restaurant and waited like you, like 30 minutes for them. I'm like, where the fuck are the drinks? Like, go to the waiter. Yo, man, what's going on? I'm like, hey, man, how are you? You good? He's like, yeah, you busy tonight? Oh, yeah. Look, man, we've been waiting half an hour for these drinks. I'm always nice to these guys.
Yeah, I'm always nice.
I don't know if they're getting fingered in the back there or whatever, or understaffed.
Literally fingered.
Everyone's praying to the fish. So I'm like, oh, dude.
Half the people are praying to the fish, the other half are getting fingered.
Yeah. So like, hey man, we haven't received our drinks. Oh yeah, I'll go look for it. And I'm like, I'm giving him 5 minutes, and then I'm standing up and we're walking out of here. And gave him 10 minutes, and they're like, oh, your food's coming. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. We've been here for an hour. There's nothing on the table. Asked you repeatedly. You said we're busy. We're sorry. I can understand we're sorry.
Yeah.
Because I remember most restaurants are like, oh, look, drinks on me, man.
Yeah.
First round's on me, no problems.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, just turns to fucking shit.
Well, that's the thing. We made the complaints, and they said, oh, look, your first rounds are on us, right? I'm like, okay, that's fine. Can we get the second round? Never came.
Yeah.
So in the end, I said, fuck this. Like, we got up, we walked out. Like, we went to the front just to pay whatever and the GM came down. He's like, man, I'm really sorry. There's a bit of confusion. Look, to be honest, we're understaffed. It's all new staff tonight. La, la, la. I go, yeah, man. Okay, that's fine. But you overpromised. Okay, if you couldn't deliver, that's fine. But, like, what do you want me to do, man? Okay, it's 10 minutes to go. We've been here for an hour and 45, and we've gotten 1 round of drinks. You've served us our dessert before we got our mains. We never got dessert. And he comped us our drinks, and then he charged us like a flat fee for like everything else, whatever we'd eaten, like basically by plate as opposed to the whole banquet. And he said, here's my card. Next time you want to actually make a booking, call me, and I'll look after you like for the night, la, la, la. Would you go back?
No.
I didn't leave a negative. I was kind of like, if I really get shit service somewhere, I might leave a negative review on Google. It's how they respond. The guy did respond properly, but at the same time, it's like, this is a primo joint, dude. This isn't like a little banh mi restaurant out in Footscray.
Yeah.
This is a premium joint. We're paying like primo dollars for shit here. We were nice the entire time. And I'm leaving here with like a rushed meal in 10 minutes and 1 drink. I should be grateful for that.
We had, we went to this primo steak place, me and my mate, and there was his steak came out, and it was just full of like, it was just fatty as hell. The whole thing, like he must have no meat, just fat, and he's like, man, this is rubber, and I'm like, I was like, mine, and I'm like, mine's fine. I don't really. You're like, mine's perfect, and his was like
best steak I've ever had in my life.
His was like a fucking belt. I'm watching him trying to cut it. And he's like, what the fuck is going on with this? And it was just trying to cut it. And manager's like, well, what can I help you with? And he's like, man. He's like,
blasé.
He's like, man, I'm trying to cut this steak. Look. And like my mate's showing the manager, he's like, oh, look, sometimes it gets cold. So the cows like get really cold. And
is he for real?
The nerves and the meat and this and this. And my mate's like, my mate's just staring at him blindly. And he's like, can I speak to somebody who actually knows what's going on, please? And they ended up giving him like 2 vouchers. It was like $150 to come back again. And like we never used them because of COVID.
I'm always worried, right? Like I feel like with this dude like at the joint, I won't name the joint, right? But I feel like if I contacted him and said, hey man, like I want to make a booking, I feel like they'd take the piss the entire time there, probably spit in the food, do something half cooked.
They wouldn't. There's no spitting in the food. They would.
What would you think?
I don't know. Maybe they give you the cheapest of the cheap. Oh man, there's some cunt outside. I promised him. What do we got? I just give him.
There's a cold venison steak in the fridge.
It's like just cut some cucumber and put some sesame seed oil on it. He'll fucking be happy.
Cucumber and sesame seed oil.
Like a little bit of chili,
Dude, sesame seed oil and peanut oil is wiped out from Coles.
Really?
I couldn't find it. I was at Woolies, sorry, not Coles.
Did you go to KFL?
KFL
is like a really nice Asian supermarket. You can find anything you want. Next time you're on Sydney Road.
Sydney Road.
There's like 4 or 5 of these places. There's heaps of them around here.
Is there one in Chapel Street? The other no, that's a Japanese one, I think.
I have not gone to Chapel in.
You know where KFC is?
Yeah,
where the Paran Market is.
Yes.
Yeah, in between KFC and the Paran Market.
I haven't like been able to see what's there anymore. Like I haven't gone there to actually. I got no idea.
Yeah. No. I walked past it the other day. I remember I was in there looking for casutera cake.
Yeah.
Can you get that anywhere in Melbourne?
I don't know. What is it again?
Casutera cake. It's like a Portuguese Madeira cake.
Casutera.
Yeah, Kasutera. It's a premium cake. Dude, my mum, when she was in...
oh, yeah, I've had this one.
Oh, man, that is cake of the gods,
yeah,
man.
my missus knows. Like, it comes in like this pre-packaged thing.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we've had it. We always have it.
Where?
I don't know. I'll message her.
You're holding out on me, man.
No, like she's like tasting this, and I'm like,
my mum went to Thailand. I think it was Thailand, or maybe a trip to China. One of the two.
Yeah.
And she made friends with she was on a tour, and she made friends with like a couple from Japan.
Yeah.
They took photos together and all this. And my mum said, "Oh, I'll mail you the photos like when they come through." Blah blah blah. And so my mum sent her like an envelope full of photos, and maybe sent her like a treat or some shit, some gifts. And the girl. I still remember it. I was at my mum's house, and this package comes through in the mail. It was like huge. So she's like, I go, what's this? She goes, it came from Japan. Do you want to like open it up? So I've opened it up, and it was box on box of like casutera cake. And this girl worked in one of those shops in Japan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is the greatest cake I've ever had in my life. I was at SAE at the time in South Melbourne, and there was a Japanese kid who was in my class, and I remember taking one into him. And I'm like, dude, have you ever seen this? He goes, man. He goes, this is casutera. He goes, this is primo. Like, this is real legit shit. I'm like, is it? He goes, yeah. He goes, this shit comes out of cake shops in Japan. It's worth $1. Like, it's worth a bit.
There's this one cake here. It's like a mochi cake. Man, it is amazing.
Yeah, it's similar to, like that.
This is cake of the gods for me. This is amazing. I kept going to 7-Eleven. Why?
7-Eleven?
7-Eleven in Japan is like is a trip on its own. It's a trip on its own. Just like looking at
7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here talking about premium locations. 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven is premium. The guy's
Tokyo,
like
7-Eleven.
The guy's frying chicken behind the counter there, man. Like,
really?
Yeah, dude.
They've got a wine list.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got everything you fucking want there.
Jimmy-san.
Oh, dude.
The red or the white?
It was so good. Like, yeah, they got this mochi cake. I kept buying one, like, every morning.
Yeah.
Like, with my missus. She's like, you got to stop eating it.
It's all pure sugar, though, and cream, isn't it?
It's definitely just pure sugar. It is just pure sugar. But when you're on holiday, you don't really care.
Man, I lost it the other day. My mum and my auntie are just trying to load me up with, like, uluria.
Just
and I'm
carbs.
like, I can't. What part of... I'm not 15 anymore, and I can't eat.
You got to eat this. You got to eat this. And then, like, next week, like, you're going to be fat, aren't you? You're like, you're the one feeding me all this stuff.
You know when it was bad? 2019, 2020. Yeah. That Christmas, I still remember I'd gone to my auntie's in Preston. I'd gone to my mum's. I remember I'd made a few visits and, like, a few different people gave me, like, basketa of, like, kuluria and tsurekia. And I ate every single fucking one of them, man. And I remember getting to... My cousin was still here from Greece, so he left. Me and him went to Sydney for a trip at the start of Jan 2020. Ended, like, Australia Day 2020, man. I remember just sort of sitting down and going, fuck me, man. Like, what have you done? Like, you can't breathe. Like, literally...
It's the lamb sweats. It's the lamb sweats. You're like, I can feel that lamb clogging my fucking arteries right now.
Yeah. Do you know what I remember, man? My fondest memories of, like, when I still lived at home was Christmas Day or Easter, and my auntie would always give my mum, like, a big, like, you know, she'd rip off a section of the arnee, like the ribs, you know, and all of it, dump it in, like, a piatella, and then take it back to our house.
Yeah.
Sunday, Arvo, like, maybe not Sunday, Arvo, but maybe, like, Monday. No, it was always Sunday, because I'd be sitting in the living room watching, like, footy or something. After my auntie's, I'd have the lamb in front of me on, like, a silver tin. I'd have, like, a bucket of tzatziki. Bucket. Like, I'm talking like a bucket. Just a tea towel. I'd have a glass of Coke, like something fizzy. And what's the other thing? Like bread or pita.
Yeah.
And I would sit there and destroy, like, literally every bit of flesh from, like, this arnee.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it. I think about it now, and I'm like, my stomach hurts now.
Anytime I'm in Greece, anytime I grab, like, a suvo or something like that, the guy behind the counter was like, yeah, you're going to need a Coke for that. There's no way you can eat that without having Coca-Cola. You need the Coke to finish that. Like, they work together. You need it. And you're like, oh, I'll be all right. But yeah, listen to me.
Yeah, you need that. Something about Coke is so comforting once, if you're eating, like, that meat. You want it. Like, just the fizz, just to wash everything down. I want to try and get to Greece this year.
Yeah, Greece is open. Italy is open.
Yeah, it is, but it's an arm and a leg. That's the problem. I spoke to someone who's there now, and they said for him and his missus to go, they want to go to Rhodes. His mum lives in Rhodes. He goes, for him and his missus to go to Rhodes for 3 days, stay in a hotel and hire a car, €800.
Yeah, fair enough.
From Athens, man.
I did see a couple of tickets the other day. They were like $600.
Yeah.
With Scoot.
Scoot.
Like, Melbourne to Athens. Have you flown Scoot?
Nah.
There are no fucking TVs. It's like the cheapest of the cheap.
You get a meal?
You got to pay for the meal. Everything's like add-ons. So what do you want?
Seatbelt?
Like,
you want oxygen?
If you want a TV, they give you a little tablet.
Can you imagine that? Like, halfway through, like, you're flying over Dubai. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming into some turbulence. People seated in odd-numbered seats will receive an oxygen mask. What? What do you mean?
They had some idea of having, like, a standing section on airplanes, like, a while back.
I remember that.
What do you mean standing? Like, you know, when you're on the train, you just hold on, like, so you can stand up for 13 fucking hours.
13 hours to Singapore and then have a break and then get back on and stand all the way from Dubai. Like, that's insanity. You can't do that. That's inhumane.
Me and the missus want to get the hell out of Melbourne, so we're thinking maybe, I don't know, Hawaii or something like that.
Hawaii's pricey though, isn't it?
Anywhere you go right now is going to be pricey.
I know, but
we just want to spend a couple of days out of here. We want to, like, you know, that you want that feeling of like you've gone somewhere and you've done something. Like,
I'm more cut up the fact that I've been trying to get, the last trip I did was Bali in 2018, like as in international. And that trip got like as in I got there, got poisoning, and I was done. Yeah. Like, you know, for 6 of the 10 days, I lost 10 kilos in 6 days.
Must have looked terrific.
I looked like an AIDS victim, man. It was bad. And I shaved my head when I was there, too.
Beautiful.
Dude,
so you looked like Tom Hanks in Philadelphia.
I have AIDS.
What's wrong with you? I haven't eaten.
No, it was bad. Before that, Malaysia, May 2017. That was 8 days. I was meant to go to Bali in 2020. COVID, gone. I was meant to go to Greece every other year before that.
Yeah.
Never happened. So this year, I've got a Bali ticket sort of sitting there waiting. I'm thinking, next year I've got to go to Hong Kong for a wedding.
My mate, one of my mates is in China now at the moment, and I'm begging him to come home. I go, man, I keep seeing the stuff on TV. He goes, no, I'll be all right. I'll be okay.
I don't know. I've got a friend in China, but they haven't actually said anything about COVID at all.
I don't know. He has to talk to me through a VPN and all that sort of stuff. And
that's the other thing. Yeah, every time, man. I just tried sending this friend
he loves your fucking podcast, by the way.
Are you for real?
Yeah, he loves it. He's like since he listened to our first one, he's been going through all the backtracks and all that.
Really?
Yeah, he loves it.
Who the hell's listening to this thing, man?
And he's like, when are you doing the next one? I go, I'm busy.
Okay, you want a fun fact?
What's that?
You can put this feather in your cap, man.
What's that?
Your episode is the highest rated one from this year.
Get the hell out of here.
I think it's because of the promo.
What promo?
Your promo.
The promo.
Didn't you share it?
Of course I shared
Exactly. Not everyone shares these. And I know that I slackened off this year because I ran out of money and I couldn't actually boost anything.
So you didn't have $10,000 to give to Facebook to boost it through? Yes, let's go for the second one.
Yeah,
beautiful.
your one is the highest rated one out of this year's entire playlist.
I told you I was special. I'm a fucking catch, mate. I keep telling you these things.
This is Jimmy. He has a disorder. We need your money to help people like Jimmy.
It's like Fifth Element. Help me.
What was his name? Layla?
Lilu.
I keep forgetting it.
It was like Lilu Dallas or something like that.
No, Dallas was his name.
Yeah, but then when she had the pass, poor Bruce Willis, man, going downhill.
Yeah.
When I heard that, I watched Die Hard 1, 2, and 3.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I just put them on straight away. Anytime something happens on the news about some fucking actor or some shit, i.e. Bruce Willis, Will Smith, the Will Smith and Chris Rock collection popped up on Netflix or something.
They can do Will Smith shit from Netflix.
No, it was on there like that morning. Like I know I was pumping you full of the memes that the last 3 days, and I remember actually actually it wasn't Netflix. It was Binge.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
That whole morning, like those 2 days of like Will Smith, Chris Rock. You sent me the most fire ones out of everyone. I'll be honest. You were on point with that.
Yeah.
The one with the Street Fighter.
We got to get a T-shirt.
Yeah.
We need to make that into a T-shirt.
I can do that. That's easy.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that one is definitely a T-shirt. That's great. I remember the intro, where they're like standing there and then like, duh.
Fuck.
Winners don't do drugs.
It was up. I don't know if you've got Binge or not. So it wasn't Netflix, sorry. It was Binge.
Yeah.
So Binge had the Will Smith and Chris Rock collection.
Yeah, well, that's why, because Netflix dumped Will Smith last minute.
All of like Chris Rock's like shitty fucking movies, but it had all of his. It had all of his comedy gold.
Hang on.
Through the whole thing.
That is actually a very good question. What movies has Chris Rock actually done of note that you would remember? He did Head of State or something, didn't he?
Is that the one where he's president? Or
yeah. I don't think I've ever watched it.
I just remember everyone being pimp slapped through that whole movie.
Okay, I don't think I ever watched it, man.
So, Chris Rock. Did you ever watch Everybody Hates Chris?
The show? Nah, never.
Oh, it's come true now anyway. What's he got? Grown Ups. The Longest Yard. Nothing really. Down to Earth. Lethal Weapon. It was Lethal Weapon 4.
Lethal Weapon 4? He was in that? I never saw it, so I wouldn't remember.
So I just know him from CB4.
Yeah, I've got that on DVD.
And like all his comedy specials.
Okay, hang on. I got discography, books. Where's his filmography? Chris Rock filmography. All right, hang on. What do we got here? Film. Okay. Crush Groove. Yeah. Beverly Hills Cop 2 is the valet. I'm going to Get You Sucker. Did you ever see that? That's something you need to see.
I saw that years ago.
I've got.
Is Mr. T in it, or a version of Mr. T with all the gold chains?
Yeah, there's a version of Mr. T.
Yeah.
It's a Wayans Brothers movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in ages.
But it's Keenan Ivory Wayans as opposed to Damon Wayans.
So I remember that movie being passed through school on VHS.
That would have been one of those, man. It's got the best scene where, like, Keenan Ivory Wayans keeps getting harassed by a family of midgets.
Yeah.
It's like, Jack, they were just kids. A family full of midgets is not considered kids. That's a gang. New Jack City. Yeah, I remember that. Boomerang, where he's like... Boomerang was a real sliding doors moment where he's with Eddie Murphy. He's working in the hotel.
Yeah, and like... was that
not the hotel, in the building, like where Eddie Murphy like lives and works or whatever.
Like the feet. Like Eddie Murphy had anything about feet? Is that the one?
That reminds me of my cousin.
And he'd always like look at the...
Yeah, man, she got to down some hammer time and all stuff. If she's wearing pumps that are too small for her and she can't, like, she's got buckled up toes. Yeah. And then he finally sleeps with Robin Givens and he's like all happy and he's like starts hugging her and he sees her feet. The Immortals, Panther, never seen them. Sergeant Bilko, did you watch that with Steve Martin?
Not for a long time.
Sergeant Bilko was based on like an old character and a comic book as well.
Yeah, like he had the Were they like the motor pool? They were the motor pool guys.
In the army.
And like Chris Rock was like the head mechanic or something like that?
No. Chris Rock was like a inspector auditor who comes in, and they basically distract him the entire time.
Yeah.
While they're making it out like they're very sufficient in there, and then like they convince him that the bird that he's coming with has got the hots for him just to distract him even more. Beverly Hills Ninja.
Chris Farley, yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Dolittle, he's a voice. Lethal Weapon 4. Dogma. Do you remember him in Dogma?
Dogma is good in.
Rufus,
I think Dogma is like one of those great movies.
No, shit. That was me 12 bucks. Down to Earth, which I never saw. AI, Artificial Intelligence. Pootie Tang, he was the DJ in that.
Pootie Tang.
Do you remember Pootie Tang? Wadata. It's like a...
Was he ever in House Party? He wasn't in House Party, was he?
Jane Silent Box Strike Back. He plays Shaka Luther King, that director. Shaka Luther King, that's who the fuck I am. What is it? Oh, Jamie Kennedy brings him his coffee.
Here you go, sir. And he like slaps out his head.
Could you spit in this?
No,
spit, sir. I can taste the booger flavor.
You hate a black man is succeeding, right?
It's all good, sir. It ain't all good. Now clean that shit up. Dude, Chris Rock's ability to fire is the best, man. He's just angry.
I think he's on a come up now.
Yeah.
Will Smith is on the cancellation list now.
Yeah, he's done. Paparazzi. I don't know, he was in Paparazzi. Longest Yard. Remember him in Longest Yard?
Yeah, he started playing like Adam Sandler movies.
B-movie, Don't Mess with Zohan, Grown Ups, and then, it's all over.
He got done. No, he didn't get done, but he got caught cheating and his missus took more than half, right?
More than half?
I think she almost left him broke.
Really?
Yeah, she took everything from him.
Is infidelity really enough to, like, take more than half of your money?
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, you've supported him for, like, 20, 30 years.
Oh, so they were together forever?
Yeah, long time.
Okay. Isn't that what happened to Dr. Dre?
I don't know, did it?
I thought so. Yeah, his missus...
She cleaned him out as well, right?
She's tried to clean him out, and she took, like, something like billions worth of settlement.
Like, she needs, like, $2 million a year.
No, like per month, like something stupid. Dude, that is the biggest joke. Like, I've grown accustomed to a lifestyle, so you have to... Mate, go get a job. Like,
I buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin a month. I need my money. Man. I need my money.
You know what I found the other day? That first original divorce selfie. Do you remember it?
The one where he's in like a lawyer's office. And he's smiling? There's also a second one where he's got a cake. Where he's like kicked her, like there's a cake where he's like divorced.
There's a bunch of them, but the best one, dude, the best one is this guy. And he looks so nondescript. He just looks like your average Joe Blow. Like, there's nothing special about him. Just an average guy. Genuinely looks so happy. And there's like an Asian missus in the background who looks really forlorn, like upset. And the solicitor, the divorce lawyer, is just some woman who looks like Miss Frizzle from like the school bus, the magic school bus.
He looks like he drives the fucking bus. He looks like she's so upset.
She's so upset, and he's got a hat on in the divorce lawyer's office, man.
Looks like it. Like
I tried to find. I actually went deep diving looking for info on that photo, and all the other divorce selfies that popped up, there was a story behind them. That one was just posted on Reddit, and that was it. No one ever knew where it came from.
The OG divorce selfie. That'd be a nice one. They've just been cropped into France or some shit like that.
Do you remember? Oh, man. Do you know what I remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember when September 11 happened? And that was when the art of Photoshop first started. And there was that photo going around.
The guy was on top of the tower. The plane was showing up.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's real. And
what was the actual backstory? Because that guy, like, there was 1,000 things that...
I think it was just it's somebody who actually took a photo on there and then they just, like, self-imposed
September 11 meme traveler, tourist. What would you look it up? Tourist. Hang on. Tourist, 9/11 tourist guy. Know your meme. Here we go. Yeah, this is it, dude. That's it.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. That's the one. Okay, here we go.
Nah, the plane's...
Yeah, it's fake as hell.
Like you'd need a professional camera to pick that up.
A plane coming in that close, that fast, you wouldn't be able to get on film.
No way.
A photo taken by Peter Goosley. Okay. Exploitable Photoshop meme. Blah 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 blah. Overlooking yada yada yada. Origins. Yes. That's fine. Spread, help me debunk this. Okay, so where the hell is the actual... Okay, there's all the other memes of it.